In this episode, I am talking with Lau Hardy, one of the most influential figures in modern British tattooing. In the late 1970s, he founded New Wave Tattoo in London, one of the first custom tattoo studios in the UK, and he helped shift tattooing away from flush, on-the-wall shops towards artist-led bespoke work. Over the decades, Lau has played a significant role in professionalising the industry, raising artistic standards and contributing to the wider acceptance of tattooing as a legitimate art form. In this interview, we discuss the evolution of the industry, the cultural shifts he's witnessed, and the responsibility of preserving tattoo history whilst pushing it forward. What I didn't expect when meeting Lau was to feel like I was catching up with an old friend, one who had so many wonderful stories to tell, and it's no exaggeration that I could have sat there all day at his stall hearing about tattoo history and Lau's love for the industry. It isn't about leaving a legacy, it's about leaving the tattoo industry in a better place than where you found it. This is an interview with Lau Hardy.
Alright, so I'd like this more of just a chat between us two.
Yeah,
I don't like doing the whole interview. So obviously when it comes to tattooing, there are the big names, and yours being one of them. How long have you been in the tattoo industry for?
I started about 78, 79, but I was tattooed in 1976, so quite a number of years really. Although people say you're one of the big names, I think it's probably more just one of the known names. You know, there's so many fantastic tattoo artists out there. If I was to say what is my contribution, I know people sometimes go back to thinking it was because of the punk influences, but it's more to do nowadays with trying to preserve the history of it and to also help people that I feel are bringing something to the trade. Do you know what I mean? As I said, I've only ever apprenticed two people, and both of them, Martin Clark, he went on to be a fantastic tattoo artist. He then taught his kids, who are my godchildren, so he's like my tattoo son, if you like. So, you know, it's like three generations of people via the New Wave shop, if you like. I've apprenticed a girl called Mang, who within the tattoo world now, she's making quite a few waves. She does amazing Japanese artwork. She's an absolute powerhouse for creating art. But I've met various people who maybe haven't done an apprenticeship with me, but I've seen that they've really got something that they can bring to the tattoo world that's good. And I feel that I'd much rather help somebody like that, who is actually bringing a good thing, whether it's good artwork, amazing ideas and that, you know. So that's kind of how I feel that the tattoo world has been very, very good to me. So if I can give something back to others, to carry it on, and that's what I said to my Mang, who apprenticed with me. You know, I'm 67 now. I'm not going to be around forever, but I would like to think that the things that she's learning about the trade, which is not just about art, because she's a brilliant artist herself, not just about teaching her about machines, but to actually teach her about what it's like to deal with the public, what it's like to go through hard times, you know, the importance of saving money, the importance of realising that when all's said and done, we're just people that are fortunate that we can do pictures on people. We aren't superstars. We're very lucky that people put their trust in us, come to us, and the business can be massively rewarding, not in a financial way, but in a way that is good for the soul and good for the mind, with the people that you meet and the friendships you can forge, the stories that you hear, the experiences that you go through, you know. So for me, that's been an amazing career to be in, you know. When I think back to so many different things, I laugh at it now, you know. People, when you say like, oh, Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters walked through the door, yeah, that's a great story. But the 85-year-old lady whose bucket list was to do all these mad things, one was to do a skydive, to scuba dive, to get a tattoo on her bum of a Tottenham cockerel, you know, all them mad little things, they enrich your life. And
it's humanity, isn't it?
Yeah, talking about the human touch. You know, I saw somebody put one of these AI tattoo machines, robotic tattoo machines, And I put a comment on there that just said, where will be the sympathy or empathy when they're dealing with somebody who's lost their child? Mm-hmm. You know, and somebody in America goes, oh, what's your problem? And my fucking problem was that a machine cannot take the place of a human being that can show compassion to somebody who's going through the loss. If they're getting a memorial tattoo, you know, you can be there for them. You can actually give them something. Apart from the tattoo, you can maybe give them emotional support, or just the chance to, maybe they want to speak to you and unload. You know what I mean? That's the important things to me in tattooing.
With the tattoo industry, obviously you've been around, you know how long the industry has been around. Do you feel like it's losing that at any point?
I mean, the difficult thing is with the tattoo world, it's constantly evolving and always has been. And in some respects, I think when you've been in it a long time, perhaps you think back to golden eras that maybe weren't quite as golden as your mind tells you. And by that I mean, my uncle said to me that he read a book once about how shit England was. The guy who wrote it then went off to the First World War, came back, finished the book. But within it, he then referred to golden eras that would have existed in our lives. And a lot of us, we probably think back to the school summer holidays.
Yeah.
And we think that every day of that 6 weeks was a sunny day. We forget it pissed with rain, we couldn't go out. We think to Christmas, you know, and perhaps we think Christmas, a golden Christmas when we got all the presents or exciting things we wanted. We totally forget that actually sometimes, you know, it was shit.
But that's life though.
And I think, shit. And what I'm saying is, within the tattoo world, I think you've got to make sure that you don't think of your past as this glorious golden era. You know, the tattoo world now is in some respects in a very good place. You know, I mean, everyone's saying, oh, corporate companies have taken it over. Well, you can't stop that.
No.
You know, and for a lot of people, if they had a business and a bigger company comes in and offers you something that could mean your retirement, pension, you can't blame people for taking that. You know, we can all be very judgmental of what's happening. The use of pens, you know, a lot of people don't like the fact that pens are being used, but new things come, new things go, you know. So it's hard. Somebody said to me, you know, do you think that new people should all be taught the history of tattooing? And I said, no, I don't, because it's not a requirement to be a good tattooist or a good artist. But it can be very interesting to learn that, you know, to learn the history of where it's come from. And in some respects, I think there should always be respect shown for those who came before. You don't necessarily have to be in a deep dive on it all, but it is important. I was saying to people, the innovation that the old-time tattooists had, how they had to learn how to make their own needles, how to make machines, how to, when something wasn't available, how you may do. Because when you look at things now, people can just go and buy anything they want.
Yeah.
And it's there within 24 hours.
Yeah.
It's made life very easy, which isn't a bad thing, because we want an easy life, you know. I said on a podcast before, the most precious commodity human beings have got is time. So if you can save time and use it to your advantage for something better, that's what we want. But as I said, there's so many mad things in the tattoo world at the moment. It's like the whole world is mad, though. With
of course
everything.
It is. And it's always been mad, and it'll always be mad.
There has always been tattoo schools. There has always been suppliers. You know, it's just probably now it's easier to find out about them. George Birchett sold tattoo kits, you know, the most iconic British tattooist ever. You know, I look through old magazines and see training schools, training courses. Some people are doing that. People will do. Some of these training schools are good. I've seen good ones. I've seen some real shit ones as well, you know. For me, I've only ever bought people through my shop that I knew were going to give something back, and the proof is in the pudding with them. You know, I could have taught hundreds of people over the years. Many people have asked me if I would, but you know, the last girl I taught, man, I looked at her Instagram when somebody said this girl's looking for an apprenticeship. Her whole Instagram was full of artwork. No selfies, you know, no cute little pictures, just artwork. And when I looked at her, I thought, God, you know, this girl could be a person who's going to bring something to tattooing. And mark my words, you know, she has, and she'll go far in the trade.
What do you want your legacy to be in the tattoo industry?
You know what, I mean, legacies and things, you know, is a thing that people talk about, but really there's so many tattooists that could leave legacies. I just happen to be somebody who's happy talking a lot, and so probably get more publicity than I deserve. I would just like to think the one thing that I always say, which I learned of somebody else, is look after tattooing and tattooing will look after you. That message is really important. Don't just see this as a job and that you can swan around and not put something back into it. There's an old saying about the tattoo tree bears your fruit, but if you ignore looking after that tree, if you don't water it and nurture it, it's going to die and not produce fruit anymore. So it's very important that we appreciate how fortunate we are to be tattooists and to give back to it in whatever way is beneficial from that particular person, whether it be through charity work, through just helping others. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
again, it's humanity, it's being together and it's pulling together, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really important, you know. As I say, there's loads of people that love to flash the cash and show how much money they make. As if it gives them some sort of kudos, the more money they're making. For me personally, that's not what this business is about. It's about actually giving something back, to forging friendships, to, you know, to actually being a better person.
I think this community is, like, I found my home in this community. Like, I think a lot of people you speak to, everyone's been through something, everyone's been through something atrocious or whatever, and it's this community I found kind of safety in. This community that I found the kind of acceptance, and you can show up as who you are, and it's because, again, like you said, you know, it's not about the money that's there, but where you do talk a lot and where you do talk about community and where you do talk about people, I think that is why so many people resonate with you as who you are, and which is why I wanted to come over and speak to you. It wasn't just, the name Lau Hardy. I do know what you stand for, and I appreciate that so much.
I mean, when I do, people talk about, you know, mine and Mang, who works with me, about our silly internet videos and things that we do, you know, but on my Instagram I like to share a bit of the tattoo history, and some of it I like to try and find things that are a little bit off the beaten path of it. I did a thing about the people who died on the Titanic, about their tattoos and what would their lives have been like, and that, you know, I've got a fascination with the Titanic, to just think, you know, imagine going on that ship, launched in a blaze of glory, and then, you know, in a matter of days you're dead.
You never know, though,
is it? The bodies, lots of them that they found, they just assigned a number to.
I didn't know that.
And they didn't know who they were, and they wrote the tattoos that they had. It might say, you know, heart and an anchor, believed to be a stoker, or that. They never knew who they were.
So the only identifying features were their tattoos?
Yeah. So I did a little thing about that and was talking about what I wonder what their lives were like. You know what I mean? It's to try and get people to think and do things like that. And then sometimes we make videos that are just a bit silly. We you know, just taking the piss out of ourselves, or usually taking the piss out of me.
You got me though.
But I like that. I think that we live in an era where it's almost, I feel as if, not getting too political, but I feel that politicians and the media are trying to instigate a demoralisation process. Mm-hmm. And, you know, there's a few sites on Instagram now that say, this is all good news that you didn't hear about. And you scroll through it and it will tell you maybe somebody's fucking saved a family of kingfishers.
I like looking at those, like the good side of it.
Yeah, it is really important, you know. So, you know, all in all though, I still love the trade after being in, like you said, you know, it's almost like a family.
Yeah.
It's the only thing in my whole life that has remained a constant.
Yeah.
That I've got, you know, that I get up for, and then sometimes I think, you know, when I die, if I'm on my deathbed, well, I think, oh, you spent a bit too much time, you know, wedded to tattooing, but that is my passion, and you can't fight a passion.
Yeah, it's one of those, if it sets your soul on fire, isn't it? It's that niggling,
I mean, I still will see things that blow my mind, and one of the things that I know, when I first started tattooing, when I saw a photo in a magazine, I was like, oh wow, it's amazing, you know, there's a photo of my work in there, and then I looked at it and thought, oh, I could have done that better, so yeah. But when I see people and I think they've done something amazing, I always say to them, and for lots of young people, I know that from somebody who maybe is regarded as an elder of the trade, that's a nice little thing for them, but they deserve to be told that, because they have truly done something that is great art, or made something that's really great.
Smoke up someone's arse, no, well done. It's I see it.
Yeah, and that's a really important thing, because you would get some people that try and do people down. They want to suppress the creativity of them. And for me, I'm totally the other way around. I love seeing stuff, you know what I mean? And that's probably why I still find a relevance of going to shows and seeing things,
Because someone doing amazing, someone doing good, you look at it because you love the tattoo industry, the community. They're doing something for the industry. It's not they're better than me, therefore I'm this.
And it is funny because I know you say you're well known and that, but I still go to shows. Sometimes they're just little ones and that, and people don't know who you are, and I chat with them, and I always love it when they go, "Oh, do you tattoo? Did you ever tattoo?" I go, "Oh yeah, done a little."
Now I'm a dentist.
I just said I've done a little bit. I said, "I really like what you're doing and all that." You know what I mean?
You had no idea.
No, but I think that's funny. I think.
No.
But for me, I've had some very interesting things of like being in other countries and that. I was in a place called Maria in Tahiti. Sorry, I went to a few islands out there one time, but I was actually on the island of Maria, and with a mate of mine, and we went to this place called Tiki Village we'd heard about, and there were some tattoo people there. It was a bit of a tourist thing a French guy had set up, and we saw these guys all with traditional Polynesian tattooing, and they looked really fucked off, they were working there. And I just said to him, could we take a photo of you, please? I collect tattoo photos. And then my mate speaks French because he's half French. And he spoke to him in French. He said, we're tattoo artists, we love tattoos, and we took our shirts off. And then they went and got, this is years ago, this is before camera phones, this was with cameras. They went and got their cameras, little cameras. And then they got a guy, this little guy turned up, he had all his face tattooed, he had a minibus. They took us to every tattooist on the island, and it was a fantastic day, you know what I mean? So the tattooing gave a bond, fucking 10,000 miles away.
I'm not going to take up too much more of your time, because I know you're so busy, but I appreciate this so much today. I know you don't see you know your name, but it's not, I know you don't see yourself as way up there and everybody else down here, but it is more how you feel about the community that I really, really appreciate.
Oh, that's all right, I love it.
Really, really appreciate it. Also, as well, I saw a video, Tasmanian Devil feeding you money. So how do we get the Tasmanian Devil back out there?
Wait, just stay tuned, because I'm planning I'm hoping it's going to be a really fun thing for the tattoo world, for everyone to be involved in. It's not going to be to make any financial gain, it's going to be zero to be part of financially. It's just a thing that I've spoke to a few people here already about it, and I'm going to make a little video for Instagram soon and just see if we can have, it's a specific date and there's a reason for that specific date. I'm going to try and do a Taz Day for the tattoo world where we fill Instagram with everything Taz. It can be a tattoo someone's done, it can be a song, a picture, they can paint themselves up to look like Taz, they can impersonate Taz, they can do anything. Taz is going to be the word for one day, and if I can get at least, 5,000 people to put something on Instagram on that one specific day, I think that it could be a regular thing that everyone self-polices, if you like. They just look at that one day and they all put their stuff up and we just fucking laugh, because the world is too serious.
Oh, it's insane, yep.
So stay tuned on my Instagram and I'll let you know. I'll probably try and do a video next week.
Please do.
Yeah,
please do.
Will do.
Whatever you need, getting it out there, we'd love to be part of it.
Yeah, wicked.
Thank
wicked.
you so
All
much,
right, darling,
Lau.
no problem.
Thank you.
Pleasure.